Welcome to another episode of SPAAR's Better and Better podcast. I'm Jennifer Kovacic, the Communications Director with SPAAR, and I am excited to be here today with Brianne Lawrence, who is wrapping up her 2023 year as SPAAR President.
Thank you so much for having me today.
I love that you're here. Thank you. And I'm excited to hear some of the answers to your questions. So let's just kind of jump in right now. You are wrapping up a full year of everything from news conference and media interviews and events and board meetings, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me, what does it feel like to be wrapping up this year?
It's been a wild ride, but it's been really fun. It's actually kind of sad to be seeing my way out, seeing myself to the door, if you will. However, I am so excited for our 2024 leadership. Amy Peterson is going to kill it as president. Jennifer Livingston is going to be an amazing president-elect. And then you have good old Tom that's going to be serving as treasurer. So we're in really good hands, which makes it a little bit easier to bow out.
Yes, and obviously Amy and Jennifer have been partnered with you the past year, and Tom Weiner has been in different roles in leadership as well. So it'll be a fun trio, but always sad to see somebody go, and it's bittersweet.
Yes.
So curious, favorite memories? What are some of the things that stick with you as you make the transition?
There's a lot of good things that SPAAR does, so it's hard to just kind of pinpoint one, but I did write down a couple that we can discuss. I would say the first and foremost is one of the things that I continuously hear whenever we traveled and went out of state was just how amazing SPAAR is. You really don't understand the dynamics of a local association until you get in some of those roundtable events. And one of the things that we are just very lucky about is the staff that we have here at SPAAR. Thank you to everybody that's in this room. But also just where we are on the leaderboard, if you will. So one of the things that has always come around is what we are already doing and a lot of associations aren't doing. So I would say that that's one thing that really sticks out in my head.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, thank you.
So kind of fun, especially I know you've done a lot of national travel.
Yes, Yes, it's not just Minnesota. It's literally every state that we go to. All of our forms are up to par. The events that we're doing, things like our DEI committee, there's several associations out there that just don't even have those things up and running yet, whereas we've been doing them for years.
Very cool. So kind of along the same lines, what have you learned, whether it's been as you've been traveling and meeting others or here at SPAAR in your roles? What are some of the different takeaways?
So I'd say the number one thing that I think is a really good thing for members to remember and to focus on is the strength of the Realtor brand. The Realtor brand has been through a lot of scrutiny in the last year. However, if at the end of the day, you look at this community and everybody is really in it to win it. And that's something that just I hold near and dear to my heart as somebody that's been in this business since my childhood. It's been fun to watch, but it's also become very true. It's a tight-knit community. You have that support. You have people that are willing to rally around you when you're in a time of need, or that want to build you up when you go to that listing appointment.
Sure. And I will say from a staff perspective, watching you and other members who are involved and engaged, just that networking camaraderie that you bring and share with each other is fun for us to experience as well.
Yes, it's wonderful.
So again, wrapping up your year as president, what are some of the opportunities that you had in your leadership roles?
Oh boy. There was a lot. So one thing that I can think of that was a lot of fun, kind of going back to the camaraderie of the Realtor brand, was the Riding with the Brand event that was held at the US Bank Stadium. For me, that was my first time there. So it was so real to see how big that place is. But really cool to invite the realtors from the state of Minnesota as well as their families and just kind of have that little gathering of why we all do what we do on a daily basis. Another one that I would say was really cool, and this was the first year that we did it here at SPAAR. My starting with SPAAR started with the Charitable Foundation, so that's kind of near and dear to my heart. We did what's called a nonprofit fair, where we invited all of our vendors and people that we have donated funds to help them with their charitable givings. We had everybody come here, and there was probably about 50 people that got to network and talk about what they're doing in our communities. That was a really fun event, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Well, and I'm glad that you bring both of those up, whether it's Riding with the Brand and similar events or the nonprofit fair that we had here. I think just those types of events are great ways for members, realtors, affiliates to come together and network. And in the nonprofit fair case, I know it was also an opportunity to learn things to share with clients.
Absolutely. And it's something that we all, maybe not all of us do as realtors, but it's always great to give back to our communities in which we live and work in. So it was really nice to see what other people are doing in that space, because we only know what's in front of us. And there's a lot of good going on in the community out there. So it was really fun to bring that into the doors and into the building of SPAAR.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. So you talk about some of the different firsts you had with charitable and, like you said, the nonprofit fair being its first this year. How would you encourage other members who maybe are kind of on the peripheral and not really involved to get involved if they're interested?
I think I would back up a step and just say, if you're volunteering or if that's of interest to you, why would you not volunteer in the space that you work? There's so many different committees here at SPAAR that you can come and talk to member services or any of the SPAAR staff members. You could even reach out to me personally. I'll give my cell phone if you want it. But find what your niche is. Find what is of interest and of value to you, because then it doesn't feel like work. You know, they say if you enjoy your job, you never work a day in your life. It's kind of the same thing with volunteering. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Sure. Great answer. And I love that idea of, make your work your play in a sense.
Yes.
So
and do it with the people that you spend the most time with. I mean, the reality is we spend more time working than living. So why not work and have fun doing it?
Absolutely. You might have already answered this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Who within SPAAR's membership should get involved?
Everybody. I think the question is, why wouldn't you get involved? For me, it was an easy say yes to. Some people have passions, whether it's habitat or donating blood or whatever that might be. But when you have something that's so near and dear to your heart, when you have something that could make a difference, not only in your community, but where you work, you also have a voice, and every member always questions, why am I spending hundreds of dollars to my local association? To me, if you have to ask that question, then you really don't understand the value. You should understand the value, and the value is getting involved. It doesn't take a lot of time commitment. Oftentimes it's maybe one meeting a month. That's maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. If you wanted to do more, there's always opportunity to do more. If you want to live here like some of us do, you can pull up a seat and hang out with us. But the aspect of it is just so powerful. It's so meaningful, and it puts in the value of that hundreds of dollars that you're spending is really very minute in the big scheme of things.
Well, and I'll put a plug even beyond committees. If somebody can't do once a month commitment, I think there's a lot of other things that are even a less time commitment to just kind of dip your toe in the water.
Absolutely.
Whether it's participating in a book club or there's a Toastmasters opportunity, there are volunteer events periodically throughout the year.
There's networking socials. If you don't like to volunteer, come hang out. Have a beer at a networking social. Go bowling at a networking social. Join the YPN group. There's just so many things that you can be doing with like-minded people. I mean, we all talk about real estate. Our families are sick of talking about real estate. The members here want to talk about real estate. You want to know what's going on in the market. You want to know what rates are doing. You want to know what's trending. You want to know where you're going for your future. And there's no better place to get that than in this space.
Well, and you raise a good point too. You can come and do the fun social networking opportunities. You can do things more in the business end. There really is a full spectrum.
Absolutely.
And it's just kind of finding, whether it's your niche or you want to explore something new, it's just kind of figuring out what that is.
And most of the things, you can either bring your family or bring a friend that's not in the real estate industry. It's very open to everybody. So I am a big promoter of, I think members should be involved. If you're going to pay money towards something, why wouldn't you actually utilize that membership the way that you can to its fullest potential? So it's a small amount of people. We are always looking for member volunteers, but we're also just looking for members to hang out with us, to join in on the fun, to do some of the things, to get your hands dirty and literally get your hands dirty and go plants or whatever you can do.
And you brought your 5-year-old son last year.
I did. And he loved it. So
that's pretty cool. So obviously you've been really involved in lots and lots of things over the years, but what's next for you?
Oh, geez. A couple things. So I'm still going to be hanging out in the halls of SPAAR, but I will also be joining the executive committee with the state of Minnesota. And then I'm also going to be joining North Star MLS to see what's going on there too. So I will still be busy volunteering, still be giving back time, but also keeping myself engaged, because I don't think there's any other way to know what's going on unless you're at that table.
100%. Well, it'll be great to still see you in the halls of SPAAR. I know that you'll stick around, and I know that you've done a lot of things. You've mentioned charitable, obviously, with SPAAR in your role. I guess I'm kind of curious to hear if there's anything else you want to add.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say there's a lot of turmoil going on in the real estate industry, especially this last year. It's been a really challenging year for realtors, and we all see that. We've all heard the saying, stronger together, and I think that that's more indicative now than it's ever been. If you don't know what's going on, find out, get involved in that aspect, but also remember that this is a place of positivity. The realtor brand, the realtor trademark has been the oldest trademark in the U.S., and there's a reason for that. We are strong. We are going to get through this, and we will persevere. And whichever way you think about it, 2024 will be a good year of change and growth and opportunity. And I think there's no better time than right now to embrace that.
So you've talked a lot about what you've done this year, but I'd love to hear some of the specific kind of tangible projects and what jumps out at you. I know you were involved in quite a bit.
There was quite a bit going on. And like I said earlier, it's really hard because you want to be at everything, and it's just not humanly possible to go to all of the events that SPAAR has. So a few ones that stick in my mind, as you had mentioned, that I brought my 5-year-old. And one of the things that we did was we went to the Frogtown neighborhood, and there was a park that needed some cleanup. One of the things that they were trying to do was get rid of some invasive species of plants. And so we planted hundreds of thousands of plants that day. And it was just really fun to watch some of the SPAAR members and staff come together and go to this park and just do an overhaul on the park so that it can be a place that people can hang out and live and just enjoy. So that was one big thing. In our walls here at SPAAR, one of the big events that I think can't go unnoticed because it's so important to members to know this, but we created an on-demand education learning curriculum, if you will. So this allows members to get on the computer 2-3 o'clock in the morning, which most of you are awake and having those thoughts, but you can now jump on and get CE. Another thing that we just announced is that we are actually offering ethics for free. So while ethics is not due this year, it is going to be due next year. So you can get a jump start on ethics and get it done for free.
And I'll just throw in through June 30th of 2024.
Thank you. Yes, there is a date on it. So make sure you're not waiting till the last minute, members. Not that any of you guys do that, I'm sure, but that's kind of a fun little thing. There's always adding content to that. So there's going to be more classes coming available, which I think is great. And it's really affordable. We're trying to keep the cost down for our members. So just another member benefit that you all have. Another thing that's really big, and thanks to our communications committee, is that we now have a new program called Note Router, which is really neat. Everybody gets those weekly emails from SPAAR, and I am guilty of it too. Sometimes I just don't have enough time to plug away all that information. But now it allows you to pick different categories that you are interested in, and you can kind of customize that to whatever you like, whatever your interests are, whatever you want to know more about. But that's a really nice service. So you guys have probably noticed that it looks a little bit different in your email system. It's very easy to read and very quick content, which is neat too. As a broker, one of the things that I love are the broker slides. So if you're ever looking for what should I do my sales meeting on, they give you cheat sheets. So it's kind of a nice little benefit.
And the broker slides are visible on the website as well.
Yes,
so
thank you.
Always a place that you can go and find those tidbits of information.
Because we're all so busy, you don't have time for that sometimes. So it's nice to have that fallback. Let's see. I had to write these ones down because there was so many things. So another thing that was really fun is one of the things we did as the first all-female leadership team this year is we did leadership videos, monthly leadership videos, and we kind of modeled ourselves after Charlie's Angels. No, we don't really fit the part, but we tried. We had some fun with that. So every month they came out with videos of what is going on at SPAAR. And I believe that the next leadership team is going to keep that momentum and keep doing that as well. So stay tuned for those. A huge win for us in the GA world, so government affairs, for those of you that don't know what GA is, but we were able to help pass the first generational home buyer credit for first generational home buyers, which is awesome to get some new faces in that space as well. Another thing that GA did was Key Communities. Key Communities is a program that we had launched to look at walkability factors and just knowing what's going on in different areas of our territory. So if some of you know that SPAAR oversees 12 counties within our territory. So we were able to reach out to a lot of the cities to say what's going on in your city. And members, if you know of anything that's going on in your city, or if you don't like the way something's being happened in the government space, reach out to our GADs. Becky and Simon are amazing resources. They can help us with that. So that's kind of fun to know about too.
And I'll just do a plug that for 2024, there will be some more opportunities for SPAAR to partner with different cities. So if there are projects that any members know about, this is a great time to.
That is great. That is great to hear, too,
out.
that we're keeping that up because, we don't want the little guys to be left behind either. So it picks up some of that space. A couple other things, and these two kind of tie together, but every month we get market stats. So it's something that you can push out on your social media. As president, it was really kind of fun and scary at the same time to have the Pioneer Press and the Star Trib and the Business Journal and NPR and all these people reaching out to me saying, let's interview you on this, or what does this mean? So a lot of times it was just breaking down the stats and showing them why 1 + 1 = 2. So that's kind of fun. We started the year, and this is almost a year ago now in January, doing a big press conference. And we had over 9 news media people that were there to listen to what we had to say about the year before. And that will happen again sometime within first quarter this next year. So stay tuned for that too.
And I think when you touch on the media component of it, it's great because as an expert in real estate or as a realtor, you really can bring some really large news and make it understandable and bite-sized. And I think it's just a really great way to continue to share the value of what realtors are bringing to the business.
Absolutely.
So
and we need that more now than ever of, when you look at those stats, they can be overwhelming because it's just numbers on a page to a lot of people. But when we look at those stats, that's our livelihood. That's what we're doing day in and day out. So it's kind of nice to break that down and be able to share that with people and show what is happening in the Minnesota market.
Absolutely. And you did an eloquent job doing it every month. So thank you for doing that. Awesome. Well, I guess I'll just share from a staff perspective, and I know I'm speaking not only for myself, but a lot of my colleagues. It's been really fun watching you in your leadership role. It's been fun watching you lead the board, work with the board, see everybody work together, and just a lot of great things happened in 2023. And a huge thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a fun journey.
Well, good. Thank you so much. And, all the best to you in 2024, and glad that we're going to continue to see you.
Thank you.